What do you do when one of your customers, one of your best customers, calls you on the phone and says, I need to cancel the contract? I can just imagine what you're thinking of a big customer. One of your best customers calls you on the phone and says, I need to cancel the contract. Probably you don't know what to say. Your mouth drops open. You're just sitting there thinking, what am I hearing? What am I going to do? Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you. I'll tell you how to handle that right after this break. Come on! Welcome back to Side Hustle Rules. My name is Lou Reyes. In this video, I'm going to tell you how to handle a situation when a customer calls you on the phone and says, I need to cancel my contract. And what I'll do is I'll relate to you a story. This actually happened to me. One of my best clients, one of my largest clients, contacted me, called me on the phone, the VP of marketing, and says, Lou, I need to cancel the contract. The contract, by the way, that he had just signed within the last 30 days. I'm going to tell you how to deal with the situation when it happens, if it does happen to you. Chances are it will happen. But I'm going to tell you how to deal with it. Before I do, though, I want to mention that in the description box of this video, I do have my free Side Hustle Starter Kit. If you're somebody out there who's thinking about starting a business, whether it's a side hustle or a full-time gig, well, you know what? I've got a free Side Hustle Starter Kit. It'll walk you through the 8 steps that virtually every single entrepreneur, every business owner, anybody who's ever decided to start a business, they've had to walk through these same 8 steps. And I've got a link to that Side Hustle Starter Kit in the description box. There are many reasons that a customer could or would call you, contact you, and say, I need to cancel this contract. But there are really 2 general reasons why they do it. Number one, they've decided that either it's not a good fit, maybe the quality's not what they were expecting, so we're going to cancel this contract. There's a way to deal with that. But then there's another reason that I find, and I found this, it actually happened to me, and I'm going to relay this story. That situation is when the client calls you and says, my budget was slashed. I unfortunately can't continue with this contract. I've got to cancel. Well, as I said in the opening, your mouth drops and you're sitting there thinking, what? What am I going to do? Well, in this video, as I mentioned, I'll tell you some steps, some ways that I would handle it. And I'm going to tell you specifically how I did handle a situation with one of the largest advertisers that I had. It was actually a daily newspaper. I knew from reading the headlines and knowing what was going on in the print world, I knew that daily newspapers were living in a challenging environment, and that is putting it mildly. So when I did get the call from this VP of marketing, I knew and I understood that why he was calling me. I understood that he had to cancel, but let me tell you how I handled it. First of all, what I want to mention, though, is I want to mention that this is, without question, a negotiation session. So now it's up to me to negotiate this because I don't want to cancel. I don't want to just say, yeah, it's okay. So I need to negotiate this. And whenever I'm doing a negotiation, I always want to gather as much information as I can to learn as much about the situation so I can help this person to work through this situation. I don't look at it as a battle. I don't look at it as me against him or us against them. It's a situation that we are both, he's looking at and I'm looking at and saying, hey, how can we take care of this? His solution, his easy solution is, like, I just got to cancel the contract. So let me tell you what I did when I got that phone call. I said, wow, it seems like it's a situation that is very, very dire for you to cancel the contract. You've been working with us for a long time. And I remember he said, yeah, it's really tough. I just got the word I got to cancel this. I know I just signed the agreement within the last 30 days. And I think it was probably within the last couple of weeks. But I do remember that. And I said, well, how can I cancel this contract? How can we do this when I've already committed the funds in my budget? and I've already made some steps. I've taken some steps. I made some moves to that would include this money. So now I'm just really putting it back on him. I'm acknowledging the situation. Yeah, there is a problem here. I understand you have this situation, but now I'm putting it simultaneously. I'm saying, how can we come up with a solution? How can you come up with a solution for this? Because I don't want it to be on me. I can't come up with it. The easy solution, the easy answer is to cancel the contract, and I don't want to do that. So how can I do this is what I said. And I remember him saying, well, Lou, just cancel the contract. And I said, well, it seems like it might be easy to do, but the situation is I've already committed. So how can I've already committed to spending these funds. So how can I do this? And he just once again came back and said, Lou, just got to cancel. There's nothing I can do. And once again, I came back and said, well, how can I do this? So it was maybe 3 times where I'm putting it back on him. How can I do this? How can I do this? And he says, well, is there a way we can work this out? And that right away, I knew I was going to win, because as soon as he said, is there a way we can work this out? I knew that this contract, if it was canceled or if it was canceled at all, it would only be a portion of it being canceled if I was going to accept that. But I had a legally binding agreement. He had signed on the dotted line. He said, I'm going to buy X amount of advertising space with your newspapers, your magazines. I'm going to sponsor your events. I had a national trade show company who was sponsoring a number of my events. He was also sponsoring my radio program, my weekly radio show. So he had made a big commitment to me. And I knew right away I wasn't going to lose when he said, well, what can we do? How can we work this out? So then now it's up to me to say to him, well, Joe, I've already committed to this. I've already made the commitment. I don't know. What do you think? And again, I'm putting it back on him. I'm letting him throw out that number because I don't want to do it. And it's not really necessary for me to do it. What do you think? So I remember him saying to me, well, Lou, how about if we do this? How about if I just go ahead and pay you this month's advertising, this month's sponsorship, this month's radio program? How about if I just pay you this month? And then down the road, I'll give you more business when things work out. Well, in my mind, I knew this from paying attention to what was going on and what I was hearing about the media, about newspapers, was that their future isn't bright, still isn't bright. And I knew that there was probably a good chance I was not going to have a contract ever renewed with him again. And I was empathetic. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're in this situation. I'm sorry. It just sounds like a very difficult situation that you're in. And I kept saying, it sounds like. And I was just acknowledging. So when he said, let's go ahead, how about a month? And I said, no. I said, I've already committed to a lot longer than that. Well, how long have you committed, Lou? So again, now he's really working with me. And I'm seeing that he wants to work with me. And I'm seeing that I don't have to just cancel this contract worth tens of thousands of dollars to my company. I don't have to cancel this whole thing. And you may be listening to me in this video and you may be saying, well, Lou, why weren't you more empathetic? The poor guy, he's in this situation. He's in a tough situation. Well, you know what? He is in a tough situation. He signed the agreement. He's the VP of marketing. He has marketing experience. He knew what he was doing when he signed the agreement. If it came down from his publisher, the chairman, whoever, told him we got to cut the budget, we're cutting this out, that's between them. Now he's working with me, and now I'm saying, how can I do this? How can I do this? And now he offered a solution. We did resolve the solution, by the way. We did resolve the problem, I should say. And I did retain most of the contract. And he didn't do business with me again, but I also know he didn't sign contracts with other companies as well. They slowly started to just shrink their marketing budget to where it was basically nil. And I would have lost out tens of thousands of dollars had I just capitulated and said, yeah, you know what, I'll cancel the contract. So my advice to you is this. If you get a supplier who calls you and says, I've got to cancel the contract because my budget was cut, put it on them to come up with a solution. Now, if they call you on the phone and they say, I've got to cancel the contract, and they don't give you a reason, let's say it actually, as you find out, it was actually product quality, or maybe the product wasn't a good fit after all they thought it would be and it's not. But if they call you and they say, I've got to cancel the contract, what I say, if I don't get a reason, I say, well, what about this isn't working for you? And then I don't say a word. I don't say a word. I just pause and I wait for them to fill in that gap to give me that information. And again, as I said earlier, and it bears repeating, is I don't look at these kinds of conversations as an us versus them or me versus him or her. I look at it as a situation that needs to be understood. So I need to get information from them. If it turns out it's product quality or it's not a good fit, I will then at that point try to find a way to make it work out. And I'll always want to get more information. And I think those kinds of situations are probably a little bit easier to work out, because if it is product quality, well, then you just have to fix the product quality. You have to fix that issue. If it's a product isn't a good fit, well, let's hope you have other products that are a better fit for them, that fit their need. What you are going to do, though, is you want to keep that business, would be my guess. You want to keep the business. So what you'll do is try to find a solution to that issue. And it's always about probing. It's always about asking questions. It's always about asking them to help you to find a solution. So that's all I got for you today, my friends. If you have any questions, please go ahead and submit a question or make a comment in the comment box. Send me an email. Let me know any kind of questions you have. I do want to repeat that I do have the free Side Hustle Starter Kit in the description box. Just click on that link. It'll take you right to the Side Hustle Starter Kit. You can download it. It walks you through the 8 steps that every entrepreneur takes when they're starting a business. I created it. It works very, very well. As I mentioned, every single entrepreneur, virtually every single entrepreneur, has to walk these 8 steps. So that's all I got for you today, my friends. As I always say, have a great day, everybody. Come on!